I'm going to show you some tools I use to make photographic lapel pins. The reason this started was because I didn't want to make a big frame every time I wanted to display a picture or find a place on the wall to hang it. So I decided it would be better to just have a small frame like this, very small thing that could be worn on a lapel that would show the picture, miniaturizing my photographic display. I wanted to have a nice round disc like this made out of cardboard, and I wasn't sure how I could make that, but I decided I would take the problem to a machinist. You can find guys that have little machine shops that will do things like this. Some of them won't, but some will. And actually, had several different versions of this were made by several different people when I took this problem to them. This is the thing they came up with. This is basically a, maybe we could call it a lapel pin slug punch. I'm not sure. It has the little punch that goes into the hole. And what you do is you take, for example, here we have a contact strip of 35mm negatives. I found later that I could do other things, like I could just make prints with Photoshop that already had the circle, but you still had to, of course, mount it on cardboard and stamp out the circle if you wanted to have a little lapel pin type slug that you could use. Then you take, the way this worked originally, you take your negative strip mounted on a strip of cardboard that is dry mounted on a piece of poster board, is basically what it is. Then you slide it in there, line it up, look through the hole, make sure you're, well, see if I can line this up, yeah, look through the hole and make sure you're seeing the hole that you want to punch out, or the image that you want to punch out, lined up the right way. It isn't perfect here, but I'm not going to really do it anyway. I'm just giving you the idea. Line it up, look at it, make sure it's where you want it to be, put your punch in there, and then take a really big hammer and BAM! Knock it out. Make yourself a hole. That is, punch out a hole, which will then have a little slug like this that came off the strip. And then you can take some kind of a pin back and maybe make some kind of plastic finish for it too, whatever you want to do. For example, as I've done here, or here. And you can use these little tools to make these things. I don't do this much nowadays. In fact, I don't do it at all nowadays. This is something I ran across sitting in a corner when I was cleaning out part of my house. And I thought, well, okay, let me have a look at some of these things and think about it, which I did, and I haven't done more than that. I haven't gone beyond thinking about it. When I worked on this a few years ago, I had the idea that this could be something I could produce and sell. But it never really worked out. I just didn't put everything together to do that. And anyway, I never really got to a point where I needed money bad enough to work on this the way you'd have to develop it into a commercial thing. I was mostly just playing around and doing art for art's sake, which is one of my main activities in life. Don't care if I ever get paid, I just want to do it, period. I'm just going to do it. Don't care if anybody pays me, I just want to express myself in this way, and after that, it's probably done. Probably over with, but that was what I wanted to do. I just wanted to make a little statement, maybe show it to some people, but mostly just have it there in the flesh or in the physical form for me to look at and think about and decide what I think about the idea I had. That's really about all I need to do most of the time when I do things like this. I don't really need to turn it into some kind of commercial activity. If I did, I'd be in trouble because I wouldn't like doing that. It would become a repetitive factory job, and I wouldn't be a good steward of the resources in that kind of situation.